Hi guys, I'll do one more. See, this kind of stuff should be going on in therapy. You should be able to sit with people and talk about some of this stuff, and this is the way it should have been handled. Your anonymity should be protected. You should be able to sit down and unravel this stuff. When I first got married, I wanted my name on everything, and I wanted it to be Rhonda and John Flanagan, and I was convinced I was crazy. Renee had been going after her assets too. At the time she passed away, there were vicious fights over her home. And the same time that I was struggling with economic abuse in my marriage, so was she. And that's why I bring her up. And that's why she was an inspiration, because we had been briefly talking about what was going on. Not a lot, but enough where law enforcement should have took steps then. I would have my assets and my sister-in-law might be alive. Because women should be able to have half the assets that they're entitled to. Women should be able to. But these people consistently go after people and deny them their assets. They denied my sister-in-law her assets and they denied mine. And then the police showed up at my house saying I was harassing my half brother, because I was wondering what was going on with his daughter, because I was hearing all these horrible lies about Renee, and I defended her. And part of the big problems here was talking about her assets in the same way with mine. And had law enforcement done their job, this would have been unraveled then. Because these kind of things should be sit down and be talked about in a sensitive manner and go through and handled that way. Not splattered out in the open where you're attacked by a bunch of people you don't even know what's going on because you're in shock because you were just sexually assaulted. Deliberately, so you wouldn't be able to put things together. So you could be denied your assets. So you'd be told you're crazy after a whole life's worth of work is just ripped apart and destroyed, along with your career, your business, everything in your life. Personal memorabilia, my portfolios, everything in my life was ripped apart and destroyed. And that's not the way this should have been handled. And it's still, and I didn't even sign this so-called settlement or any of it. I refused to, and I asked for an appeal because it was so outrageous that this is the way this divorce was handled. And it's still outrageous that I have to go from apartment to apartment being harassed by these people and being told I'm crazy. And this is what the hell women go through when they make a report of domestic violence, and certainly when they make reports of sexual violence, because that's what I endured from these people and from these individuals that continue. So there's a lot to unravel, certainly with economic abuse. And this is why I'm bringing this stuff up, because had they dealt appropriately with my sister-in-law, they would have been able to help me, because everybody knew what was going on from the start of my marriage to the end of it. And that's why I was denied my assets. And as far as people keep saying, move on. Well, I wish I could move on. I've moved on numerous times. The problem now is I can't. I'm being prevented from, look around here. This is the way I've been living. This is the way I've been living. The past year, I've moved 4 times, and the harassment has gone on at every single place because they need to make it look like I'm crazy in order to make their story come out right. And they're still doing it. They've been doing it my whole life. They did it all through school. They destroyed my graduation party, Marie Raleigh and those COs over there, and a bunch of people from the East End. And then they went up to the lake. They destroyed stuff up there. I've worked with some of the people that knew what was going on because they vacationed up there and hung around and partied up there. So this has been an ongoing joke and fun time for these people for a long time, and it's resulted in the horrible, horrible destruction of everything in my life. I wish I could move on. I really would like to move on. And most of the time I did with practically nothing. Only this time you've pretty much made it fatal. And this is why economic abuse is so very destructive, and it's criminal. And I tried to get my name on assets right from the start, but they all got together and said I was crazy and told me to go see someone. Well, I did see someone. She said there was nothing wrong with me. Didn't she, Holly? And you went through the roof over that. She told me I could pay her to be my friend, but there was nothing wrong with you. And you know what? They used that in the court to say, oh, well, you had a psychotic break in the beginning. No, I didn't. And I didn't have one at the end. And you were screaming to everybody, you and Mary Alice, how crazy I was, and Betsy and Kathy Crawford and Karen Hedger. Y'all got together. Y'all got together and did this and told everybody how crazy I was. And my sister, My other sister-in-law on the other side. Well, it's got to stop because I never had mental health issues. I don't have them now. And I will continue to talk about the abuse that's been going on and these allegations you make towards people that end up in such horrific circumstances, including my sister-in-law, Renee. You did the same to her, and you need to stop. And you did the same to other people. You go around, you tell other people they're crazy, but you don't look at yourself. And you need to start looking at yourself, and your family needs to start looking at themselves, because this shouldn't have been handled like this. Okay? I shouldn't have been attacked by all these people on the street living in the parking lot and being told I'm crazy. Because other people need to take responsibility for what they're doing. Because this isn't the way you handle this. You sit in therapy, or you sit in a courtroom, or you're able to defend your rights and defend your reputation and defend what happened to you without people making up a bunch of horrible, vicious lies, which is what you and these people did, because you were all friends way before I came along. You were all friends way down East End when your brother was friends with all these people, and he was living over on the South Side with Rich and Louise. You need to start telling the truth, because I'm not going to stop talking now, because I need my life back, and other children in the family need to be able to live their life without the perpetrators and the violence coming from these people that continues. And some of them have passed away, but some of them continue. And they all know the truth, and they need to stop. Because it's not the victim that should be carrying the shame. And you should know that most of all, because you were not only a victim of your brother, you're now a perpetrator. And you need to stop. And so are some other people too in the family. So you can either be the perp or you can be a victim. And you'll be attacked if you're a victim, or you go along with the perpetrator. Like you always say, well, how come you don't see your half-brothers, Rhonda? Holly, you knew why my half-brothers didn't come around. Why don't you ask Ronald why he continues to lie and do this stuff? Why don't you ask him and get back to me? Because you seem awfully quiet now after all the lectures you and Georgia gave over the years about how self-righteous you were and superior because you were all involved with the family and everybody likes you. And now you have your photography business and everybody's rallying around you from the police department, even though it's all lies, isn't it? It's all lies, a lot of it, and it needs to stop.